Your parents are Rastafarians themselves.
Yeah.
So the faith was nothing new to you.
Imagine dropping more solo albums than almost any reggae artist alive, 56 albums and still going strong, yet somehow getting your United States visa taken away again and again. That's the wild reality Sizzla has faced for years, and the drama behind it runs way deeper than most people realize. And stick around, because later in this video, we're getting into the unbelievable moment Sizzla smashed platinum plaques worth thousands of dollars right in front of cameras. People watching were stunned, and the reason behind it made the situation even more intense. But before we get there, there's one hidden part of his story that even some of his biggest supporters still don't fully know about, and we're saving that reveal for the final chapter. Miguel Orlando Collins was born on April 17, 1976 in St. Mary, Jamaica, raised by deeply devoted Rastafarian parents inside the strict Bobo Ashanti branch of the Rastafari movement.
As a youth growing up, Augustown, 40 Augustown Road, Kingston 7, Mr. Henry was the owner for that property, and he was respectfully the secretary for Sir Alexander Bedwood and the Bedwoodites, and we know that the Bedwoodites, they're Maroons from Pumpkin Hill, Augustown.
This wasn't some casual belief he followed on the side. For Sizzla and his family, the Rastafarian lifestyle was serious business. The robes, strict discipline, repatriation teachings, and a powerful belief in the divine authority of Jah shaped every part of his world. While other kids growing up in Augustown, Kingston, were focused on regular teenage dreams, young Miguel was surrounded by ideas and traditions that felt ancient, intense, and bigger than everyday life. The energy inside his home pushed him toward a completely different path. He later attended Dunoon High School and studied mechanical engineering, but life clearly had another plan waiting for him. His real education came through the legendary Caveman hi-fi sound system, where he mastered how to control a crowd and lock people into every word. Then, by 1995, the Zagaloo label noticed his talent, giving him his first real shot inside a recording studio as an artist. But the real turning point came when Homer Harris Sizzla, the same figure known for mentoring and even naming Buju Banton, connected Miguel with legendary saxophonist Dean Fraser, the musical director for Philip Fatis Burrell's Exterminator Camp. That single introduction changed everything and opened the door to a whole new level of reggae history. In 1995, Sizzla released his debut album Burning Up, and the project instantly stood out from what reggae fans were used to hearing. His sound felt raw, deeply spiritual, emotional, and completely fearless. Tracks carried an unapologetic Rastafarian message that grabbed attention fast and made people stop and listen. The following year, he came back with Praise Ye Jah, but before fans could even fully absorb that release, Sizzla hit the scene again with the Bobby Digital-produced Black Woman and Child, showing he was moving at a non-stop pace. And the title track exploded almost overnight, turning into a massive cultural anthem that people couldn't stop talking about. The song did more than climb charts. It sparked bigger conversations around identity, womanhood, and black pride inside reggae music, and fans connected with it in a powerful way.
So yeah, the artist, him say, yeah man, so him say him name Miguel Collins, but them call him Sizzla. So I say, DJ something for me. And when him DJ the tune, I never hear nothing like that, ever. And I say, Oma, you tell you know. I knew he would be great. When him record, I sure say him gonna be great. Because him lyrical content at that age.
But Sizzla wasn't easing up for a second. In 1997, he flooded the scene with Like Mountain, Babylon Cowboy, and Kings of the Earth back-to-back, proving his work rate was on another level. He also teamed up with Luciano on Build a Better World, adding even more momentum to his growing influence. At that point, the reggae industry realized Sizzla was operating on a completely different wave from everyone else. Then by 1998, the MOBO Awards recognized the buzz and nominated him for Best International Reggae Artist of the Year. He kept the pressure on with Kalonji in 1998 and Royal Son of Ethiopia in 1999, earning another MOBO nomination soon after. But what really separates Sizzla from almost everybody else in reggae is the unbelievable volume of music he released. By 2018, he had dropped an incredible 56 solo albums, a number most artists could never even dream of reaching. And this wasn't just quantity either. Out of those releases, 21 landed on Billboard's Top Reggae Albums chart, proving his impact was real and consistent. His highest charting project, Words of Truth, climbed all the way to number 5, showing this was never some lucky one-hit moment. Sizzla built a non-stop career through pure work ethic, constant recording, and a loyal fan base that kept growing year after year. Then came Thank You Mama, a track that connected with people on a completely different emotional level. The song showed a softer and more grateful side of Sizzla, paying tribute to the woman who raised him. Even critics who usually challenged him admitted the track carried real emotion and heart. For many listeners, that song became their first introduction to conscious reggae music. But soon after, major controversy started crashing in. In 2004, Sizzla was barred from entering the United Kingdom after advocacy group Outrage raised concerns over lyrics in several recordings, including "Nah Apologize." Critics argued the songs promoted harmful messages toward gay people, but Sizzla refused to quietly disappear from the spotlight. Sizzla answered the growing backlash in 2004 by releasing "Nah Apologize," making it clear he was not backing away from criticism or public pressure. But instead of calming things down, the controversy only grew even louder around him. By 2007, major protests began affecting his live shows. Concerts planned for Toronto and Montreal were cancelled after pressure from the Stop Murder Music Canada coalition, which criticized lyrics from several reggae artists they viewed as harmful. That same year, Sizzla signed the Reggae Compassionate Act, a public statement where artists agreed to move away from violent anti-gay lyrics. But even after signing it, the controversy did not suddenly disappear. In 2008, while touring Germany, his visa was cancelled halfway through the run, forcing him to leave after already performing several shows. The problems kept following him across Europe. Between 2009 and 2012, multiple concerts were cancelled in places including Germany, Madrid, Ghent, Stockholm, and Lisbon.
After that, everything just exploded in my life, so.
Black Woman and Child came
Woman
up.
and Child now is another part of my life that take off again, because the black woman him start attack me now. It's like I find some topic where the people really want to hear.
His United States work visa also faced repeated cancellations and reinstatements over the years, with another revocation happening as recently as 2024. Through every headline and every public debate, Sizzla continued standing by his position as an artist and performer. Sizzla has consistently defended his music as creative expression and freedom of speech, saying he speaks out against injustice wherever he believes it exists. Whether people agreed with him or not, he made it clear he would not let outside pressure fully control his message or his career. Then in February 2010, Sizzla traveled to Zimbabwe to perform during the 86th birthday celebration of former President Robert Mugabe, and the situation quickly turned chaotic. Reports from the event described near riots breaking out as tensions exploded inside the crowd. As police moved in and began beating audience members, Sizzla reportedly stopped his performance in the middle of the set and demanded the violence stop immediately. The moment shocked people watching and became one of the most talked about incidents from the event. Later that same year, he was reportedly granted farmland in Zimbabwe and announced plans to build a recording studio along with an agriculture business there. He even spoke publicly about possibly making Zimbabwe his permanent home, despite growing criticism from people angry that he performed for Mugabe in the first place. Still, Sizzla refused to publicly denounce the former leader after the concert, and the controversy only grew bigger from there. Then came August 24, 2011, a day that sent shockwaves through the reggae world. On August 24, 2011, Sizzla was riding his motorcycle along Salem Main Road near Runaway Bay in St. Anne when a bus collided with him in a terrifying accident. Almost instantly, false rumors started spreading online, claiming that Sizzla had died, and the story moved fast across the reggae world. But those reports were wrong. Sizzla survived, although the injuries were serious enough to leave fans deeply worried about his future. Still, by early 2012, he was already back in the studio recording music again, showing the kind of determination that had defined his entire career. Then in October 2019, history nearly repeated itself when he suffered another motorcycle accident, this time leaving him with a broken ankle and another hospital stay. Yet even after multiple setbacks, Sizzla kept pushing forward like someone who simply refused to slow down. In 2013, he released The Messiah, and by January 2014, the album earned him his very first Grammy nomination. Think about that for a second. After decades in the game, 56 albums and 21 Billboard chart appearances, the recognition still kept coming. That same year, Stephen Marley teamed up with Sizzla on Rockstone, a powerful track and video that reminded everybody exactly why his presence in reggae carried so much weight. The energy, the voice, the intensity, Sizzla sounded completely locked in, commanding every second of the record with confidence and passion. But away from the headlines and public controversy, Sizzla had also been building something much bigger inside his community. Judgment Yard, located at 41 Augusttown Road in Kingston, became more than just a home or studio. It turned into a major creative and community space connected directly to his vision. The property includes his state-of-the-art recording studio and the headquarters for Records, where young people from Augusttown and surrounding areas came looking for music, mentorship, guidance, and opportunity. Artists like Joseph Shepard, Bobo David, and G-Mac all worked and recorded there alongside him, helping the space grow into an important local hub. Then in November 2006, Records partnered with Damon Dash Music Group and Coke Records to release The Overstanding. The project followed earlier releases like Black History and Life, continuing Sizzla's nonstop run of music and independent business moves. Sizzla never sat around waiting for a major label to approve him or shape his career. He built his own system, his own studio, and his own movement completely on his own terms, creating an independent lane that gave him full control over his music and message. And here's something a lot of people overlook. In 2023, Sizzla announced a brand new album and launched a 13-show tour across Japan, and the response was massive. Fans packed venues to see a Jamaican reggae artist whose music was deeply connected to Bobo Ashanti Rastafarian culture. That kind of reach showed how far his influence had traveled beyond Jamaica and reggae itself. That wasn't just smart promotion, it was real global impact. Then came one of the most shocking moments of his career in December 2022. Sizzla jumped on social media and publicly burned several platinum plaques connected to collaborations with DJ Khaled. Fans watching online could barely believe it as the plaques went up in flames right on camera. His reason? He felt disrespected because his name appeared in a font size he believed was far too small compared to others involved in the project. Some people called the move dramatic, while others saw it as Sizzla demanding recognition on his own terms. But to Sizzla, burning those plaques was about something much deeper than drama or headlines. It was his way of making a loud statement that his name, his legacy, and his contribution to music would never be treated like an afterthought. Not even on a platinum record. The internet exploded with reactions, confusion, and debate. Some people were shocked, others defended him, and plenty of fans admitted they didn't know what to think at first either. Then in June 2025, another wave of rumors started spreading online. Reports claimed Sizzla had demanded the same performance fee as Vybz Kartel for a festival appearance in Trinidad, instantly sparking heavy conversation across dancehall and reggae circles. But Sizzla quickly shut those claims down himself. He clarified that he was only asking for the contracted down payment he was already owed, nothing extra, and nothing inflated. According to him, there was no bidding war or ego battle involved. Then by August 2025, the atmosphere around him shifted completely. During Jamaica's 63rd independence celebrations in South Florida, Sizzla stood on stage at the Lauderhill Performing Arts Center and received the key to the city of Lauderhill from Mayor Denise Grant, a major public honor recognizing his cultural impact and long career. Along with receiving the key to the city, Sizzla was also honored with a special citation from the United States Congress, a stunning full-circle moment, considering the same country had revoked his visa multiple times over the years. After decades of controversy, setbacks, and non-stop debate, his contributions to reggae music and his influence within the Jamaican diaspora were being officially recognized on a major level.
Just be smart. If I can song like, and thank you, mama, going to let me make millions and I can feed people. I'm not going to just do, mama, I'm going to do thank you, papa. I'm going to do thank you, Jack. I'm going to do all those stuff. Continue the line. Work it.
There's something almost unbelievable about that turnaround. A man once blocked from entering the country was now standing there, being celebrated for more than 30 years of cultural impact and musical influence. And the legacy is still continuing through his family. His sons, Raheem Collins, known as Remus K, and Maliku Collins, known as Scorcha, have both stepped into music themselves, carrying the family name into a new generation of artists. His daughter, Bree Clark, has also remained part of his world, keeping family, faith, and music deeply connected throughout his life story. Then in 2024, Sizzla received another major recognition when he was named a Rastafari Chief of Development for Repatriation to Ghana. The title reflected his longtime support for African repatriation and Pan-African identity, turning years of advocacy into an internationally acknowledged role within the movement. The circle around Sizzla Kalonji's legacy just kept getting bigger. As of 2026, his estimated net worth sits around $1 million, and that number tells a much deeper story than people might expect. This is an independent reggae artist who built his own label, his own recording studio, and his own community space without depending on a giant music industry machine to carry him. And he managed to do all of that while dealing with visa revocations, international controversy, canceled concerts, public criticism, and even serious motorcycle accidents that could have ended his career. Every chapter of his journey came with pressure, setbacks, and headlines, yet he still kept moving forward on his own terms. The resume alone sounds unreal. 56 solo albums, 21 Billboard chart entries, a Grammy nomination, a congressional citation, the key to the city of Lauderhill, platinum plaques that he famously burned himself, and a community center in Augusttown that still gives young people a place to learn, record music, and find guidance. Now here's the part many casual fans never fully realize. Despite decades of visa troubles in the United States, canceled performances across Europe, and being unwelcome in multiple countries at different times, Sizzla never completely changed his music or image just to satisfy critics or fit into safer commercial markets. Again and again, he chose independence over compromise, even when it came with major consequences for his career. And whether people viewed him as controversial, fearless, misunderstood, or legendary, one thing became impossible to deny. Sizzla built a career that could never be ignored. Few artists in reggae history have stayed this active, this outspoken, and this committed to their beliefs for so many years without completely changing who they were to satisfy the industry. His story is not just about music charts or album sales. It's about survival, loyalty to identity, and the price that can come with standing firm while the entire world watches. Through every setback, every public battle, and every comeback, Sizzla kept returning to the microphone with the same fire that first made people pay attention back in the 1990s. Even now, his influence continues reaching younger reggae and dancehall artists who study his work ethic, his spiritual message, and the raw energy he brings into every performance. Love him or criticize him, Sizzla created a legacy that left a permanent mark on reggae culture across multiple generations. And after everything, the bans, the awards, the crashes, the controversies, and the triumphs, one thing still stands out the most. Sizzla never moved like somebody chasing approval. He moved like somebody determined to leave his own mark on history, no matter how uncomfortable that made people around him. Today, Sizzla's catalog has become almost impossible to measure against anyone else in reggae because the consistency alone is staggering. Decades after his debut, fans still stream his classic records daily, while newer listeners continue discovering songs that feel just as powerful and urgent as when they first dropped. What also separates him from many artists is how deeply connected he stayed to his roots the entire time. Even with international tours, award nominations, and global recognition, Sizzla never fully detached himself from Augusttown, Judgment Yard, or the Rastafarian teachings that shaped him from childhood. That connection gave his music a sense of authenticity that supporters respected across generations. And maybe that's why his fan base remained so loyal through every controversy and every difficult headline. To many supporters, Sizzla represented more than entertainment. He represented conviction, discipline, spiritual identity, and resistance against outside pressure. Whether performing for huge festival crowds or recording inside his own community studio, he carried that same intensity everywhere he went. In the end, Sizzla's story became one of the most unpredictable and debated journeys reggae music has ever seen. But through all the chaos, one thing stayed consistent. He never stopped creating, never stopped speaking his mind, and never stopped pushing his message to the world.
So after getting all these big #1 songs, it becomes missing like the 13 years of the Messiah. Can't find me up hill, down a bingy ground, 12 tribe. We just be servicing the Rastafari temples.
And that's what makes Sizzla's journey so different from the typical music industry success story. Most artists eventually soften their image, chase safer audiences, or slowly disappear when the pressure becomes too heavy. Sizzla went the opposite direction. He stayed intense, deeply spiritual, independent, and completely committed to the identity he built from the very beginning. Even after decades in reggae, he still carries the reputation of someone capable of making headlines at any moment, whether through music, controversy, activism, or unpredictable public statements. That constant unpredictability kept fans, critics, and the media watching him for years because nobody ever knew what move Sizzla would make next. At the same time, his influence on conscious reggae became impossible to overlook. His music inspired listeners far beyond Jamaica, reaching people in Africa, Europe, Asia, and the Caribbean who connected with his messages about identity, struggle, spirituality, and self-respect. Very few reggae artists managed to build that kind of worldwide connection while remaining so rooted in their original beliefs and culture. And after everything he survived, the bans, public criticism, injuries, cancelled shows, and non-stop pressure, Sizzla still stands as one of the most talked about and productive figures reggae music has ever produced. Whether people celebrate him or debate him, his name continues to carry weight across generations of reggae and dancehall culture. For many fans, that's the reason Sizzla's story still feels unfinished even after all these years. Every time people think they've seen the final chapter, he returns with another project, another performance, or another moment that puts his name right back into the conversation again. His career has been filled with contradictions that made him impossible to place into one simple category. He could release deeply spiritual music one moment, spark major public debate the next, then turn around and mentor young artists inside his community studio like nothing happened. That balance between controversy, creativity, and cultural influence became part of what kept people so fascinated by him. And while newer generations of artists continue entering reggae and dancehall, Sizzla's catalog remains one of the most massive and recognizable bodies of work in the genre. From conscious anthems to emotional tracks like Thank You Mama, his music reached listeners in completely different ways, depending on what they needed at that moment in life. At this point, Sizzla's legacy goes beyond awards, charts, or headlines. His story became about resilience, independence, and refusing to let outside forces completely define who he was supposed to be. Few artists managed to leave behind that kind of impact while staying active for so many decades under so much pressure. And maybe the wildest part of Sizzla's entire journey is that he never followed the normal rules of fame. Even with worldwide recognition, major controversies, and decades in the spotlight, he always moved more like a rebel than a polished celebrity figure. That unpredictable energy became part of the reason his supporters stayed locked in for so long. Through every era of reggae music, Sizzla managed to remain relevant without completely reinventing himself for trends or industry expectations. While other artists chased crossover success or watered down their message for bigger markets, he stayed rooted in the same spiritual and cultural foundation that built his name from day one. His influence can still be heard across modern reggae and dancehall today. Younger artists continue borrowing pieces of his vocal style, conscious themes, emotional delivery, and relentless recording work ethic. Whether people realize it or not, Sizzla helped shape the sound and attitude of an entire generation of reggae music that came after him. And after more than 3 decades of highs, setbacks, public battles, and unforgettable moments, Sizzla remains one of reggae's most impossible figures to ignore. His career was never simple, never quiet, and definitely never ordinary. But that's exactly why his name still carries so much power in reggae culture today. And then came one of the most ironic moments of all. In 2025, the United States Congress officially honored Sizzla with a citation anyway. After years of visa revocations, travel issues, and non-stop controversy surrounding his name. Depending on how you look at it, that's either one of the most stubborn stories in reggae history or one of the clearest examples of someone refusing to bend under pressure. Maybe even both. No matter where people stand on Sizzla, his journey proved one thing loud and clear. He never folded to public pressure, industry expectations, or international backlash. Through decades of chaos, criticism, success, and survival, he stayed committed to his own path and built a legacy that still sparks conversation all over the world today. If this story surprised you or changed how you see Sizzla, drop your thoughts down in the comments because this story definitely gave people a lot to debate. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with other reggae fans who need to hear this wild story for themselves. Turn on notifications too, because we've got more deep dives coming on artists who changed music, sparked controversy, and refused to back down no matter what came their way.